Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to our seminar this afternoon. Really happy to have you all. I'm Joanna Roach, I'm the Executive Director of GSN Planet. I am pleased to be here with Megan, who is working our Zoom room and making sure everything runs smoothly and all things and Peter Plishka, who is Director of Customer Relations at UCO, or Universal Companies, and Camille Tillman, who is going to be doing our presentation this morning, and she's their VP of Marketing. It is our honor and our privilege to be partners with Universal Companies. They are a longtime sponsor and supporter of GSN Planet, and we very much appreciate that. And we are really thrilled that we get to partner with you on this educational series that we're doing, and this is part 2. So excited to see what Camille has to tell us. And Peter, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Great. Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, Megan. So as you can see on the screen, the title of our episode is Attracting Clients with Your SPAS Website. And we intend this to be a good program for people who already have a website and they maybe want to make some improvements on it. Or if you don't have a website yet, we're going to try to make a pitch for why you should have one and some best practices for implementing those best practices when you're starting to build your website. So there are, some essential important elements to a business site. We hope that the advice that Camille comes through with is easy to adopt. We believe it is, and that it's practical for you. So we're going to be also at some point looking at some websites that do a good job when it comes to information, interactivity, navigation. What makes a good website is you're probably not too aware of what makes it a good website. It's just easy to use and you find what you need. But we'll also be looking at some websites that miss the mark on that. So you can also see where you can go awry or you haven't paid enough attention to some aspect of your site. So I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's going to be really interesting. So I'll introduce Camille. Camille Tillman is the VP of Marketing at Universal Companies, and she is a 30-year veteran of e-commerce and online marketing industry. So she's been through a lot of the phases of what we're living with right now, from beginning to now. Her experience includes B2B and B2C companies in the industries of banking, medical equipment, and technology. She's also worked as a career consultant, which means looking at individuals and how they define themselves and market themselves online. So I want to welcome Camille. I think we're going to see some really interesting things today. I do want to ask her, after she says hello, to share a story, because one of the tidbits she shared in her bio was that she had the distinction of building the first site that had the first online retail transaction. So to me, that seems like the first video on MTV, the landing on the moon, a monumental moment. So Camille, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, GSN Planet, for having me, and hello everyone. So that story it's a fabulous story, and I warned Peter I might cry when I tell it. So. Okay, the very first site was actually a bulletin board system. And so before the web even existed. And it used to be that with a bulletin board system that your customer could hit the F12 key and it would make the computers at our company beep, and we would know somebody wanted to talk to us. So first person, or one of the first people, came onto our site, and he placed an order, found out later it was a he placed an order, and we were just so thrilled. And he hit F12 and our computer started beeping, and we, right away answered, hello, thank you for your order. And see, I'm starting Peter already. And he said, I'm sorry, I should have to say, it was a bookstore. It was an online bookstore, and we had 600,000 books. Every book in print was available. And his comment to us was, as a blind man, you don't know what this means to me. to have access to books. And he lived in Maine, and he had hardly any books that he had access to between his library and his local bookstore. So we changed the world for him. I'm sorry. And boy, I mean, that was it. I was sold. I was sold on online from that moment forward. So it really can change people's lives. So I warned you that I might do this. Okay, so enough of that. That's the first line, online retail transaction. Okay, hello to everyone. Thank you for attending. And I want to start right away by saying, please, if you have questions, ask them in the chat. I can't see the chat, but I'm going to stop periodically, and they're going to let me know if there were any questions, that I can answer. So I hope that you find this presentation very helpful for what you're doing at your spa or your salon. So let's get started. I first want to talk about what you can expect from today's episode. Really, I've intended that this is just guidance and suggestions for you if you don't have a website, and also if you have a website but you really want to improve it. I'm intending this for beginners. This isn't for advanced websites. So I won't talk about features like chat or having videos or things like that. Those are all great, but I really want to help those spas and salons who are maybe not just starting out their business, but just starting with a website or even don't have a website. So on the first webinar, Joe spoke about why you should be online, and we actually gave you homework. I don't know if you saw it. We gave you homework from it, and I'm not sure if any of you did the homework from the first webinar, but it actually is really helpful. So if you didn't do it, that's okay, because there's still time, but I did want to go over it really quickly because it's helpful to know these things. And basically the homework was around, how well does your spa appear online? Did you go and check yourself out on Google My Business if you have that? Or, did you look at Apple Maps and things like that Joe talked about? How do you appear? Also, when you're in Google and you search on the types of services you offer, so like massage near me or manicure near me, do you show up? Who shows up? Did you look at your competitors' websites? That is also a good indicator, because when somebody does type in massage near me, you are going to show up hopefully, and so are your competitors. And so as your potential clients look at the different options to them, how do you compare? And then lastly, did you take time to, really critically review your own website? And when you do this, make sure you're looking at it both in laptop and in mobile, because the majority of people are going to be coming to your site on their phone. Is it easy to read? Does it look nice? Do you see any errors or typos? These are the types of things that you're going to want to look for and kind of rate yourself on it. So we hear this question sometimes, do I need a website? Oh, Lord, yes, you need a website. And I will say I'm completely biased. The entirety of my professional life has been based around websites. So that said, I do believe you really do need a website. And there's really three main reasons why. Number one, it gives you credibility. It shows that you are a business, that you are in this, and that you are serious about your business. Also with that website, because you have it and it's giving you that credibility, you're able to control the message about your company. So that is another benefit. Also, it helps you to show up in Google search results. Again, if somebody types in manicure near me, you are more likely to show up towards the top if you actually have a website. And then lastly, I do want to add that, and this is a trend that I'm seeing, not just with spas, I'm really noticing it with restaurants. Sometimes they think that a Facebook page is all they need. They don't need a website, but I'm telling you that a Facebook page is not enough. First of all, not everyone is on Facebook, and that is really the truth. In my family, I'm the only one who really goes on Facebook. So If you're counting on Facebook to be your presence, your online presence, I encourage you to reconsider and to really put up a website and not just rely on Facebook. Okay, let's talk about the goal of your website, because of course we should always think about our goal when we're working towards things. You know, really just in a nutshell, I think that the goal of your website should be, number one, you want to get clients to schedule services with you. And secondly, if you have it, you want them to purchase products. So that's if you have an online store. I'm not going to go into that really in any detail. Actually, Joe's going to be talking about that in one of our next webinars. But these goals are important, because as you're making decisions about your website and as you're wondering, should I do this or this? If you really keep these goals in the forefront, it will help you to make those decisions more easily. Okay, so before I go into my top 10 do's, are there any questions about what I've talked about so far?
No questions so far, but a few were saying that the homework was very enlightening, and it really
Good.
made them realize what they need to update or edit. So it was really helpful.
Good.
We'll have more today.
Actually, no, I don't have any homework today, but I promise you, you will look at your site differently after today. So yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and start talking about the top 10 website do's. And these first couple that I'm going to talk about are for your site overall. Number one, make your site visually appealing. So I know this probably sounds obvious, but there's really a lot of value in matching your business's ambiance with your website. So is your spa relaxing? Is your salon trendy? Do you really care about vegan and natural, things like that? Whatever that ambiance is, whatever that branding is for your spa or salon, you want that to come through on your website. And, you know, many times I've seen a spa's website because I go there first before I go and I schedule. And what I see on the site does not match what I see when I go into their business. So really, quality photos of the inside of your business on your site will help to highlight that ambiance. So what I've done here in my presentation, I'll show you this real quickly. I went out and looked for sites that I thought were doing it really well. And down here at the bottom, I've highlighted the website, the web address for where I found it, so that you could go either during the presentation or after the presentation, you can go and actually take a look at these websites so you can see the quality of them. So in this first one, I keep saying Twisted Sisters, Twisted Scissors Chicago, their site is very trendy and kind of cutting edge. And you can tell, and once you go to the site, you'll see this is their homepage. And once you go into the site and see the people that work there, even if you look here a little bit, you can see how you can get the feeling for the vibe of their salon just from their website. And that's really ideal. Okay, to do number 2, make your site mobile friendly. I already talked about this. The majority of people who come to your site are going to be on their phone. So you want to make your site really easy to use when they're on the phone, and you want it to look nice. So this is an actual laptop image from my laptop of this Bliss website. And then this is the actual photo from my phone of their site. And you can see how beautiful it looks. Everything just, it looks the same no matter whether I'm on my laptop or my phone. So when you are creating your site, you want to look for templates that are responsive. And what this means is that the site itself will adjust no matter what device your visitor is using. So whether they're on a laptop, whether they're on a tablet, whether they're on a phone, doesn't make a difference. It's going to look nice and adjust for that. Okay, and to do number 3, keep your site simple and clear. Now, this one's mostly for your homepage, but it will apply across your whole entire website. You want to keep your layout very simple and your navigation very clear. When your site is cluttered, visitors literally don't know where to look at first. I know that when you're thinking about your homepage, you're thinking, oh, I want to tell them so much, and I want to make sure they see this and this and this and this. But literally, customers just don't even know where to look first. So if you keep it very clean, they know where to look, and you almost are directing what they're doing on your site. In addition to this, you want to keep your calls to action very clear and easy. And your calls to action are literally the action you want the visitor to take. So let's take a look here. This is Lemon Spalon, sorry. I love this. They did a great job of keeping their site very simple and clear. When I look at this homepage, right away, I look at this beautiful photo. So I have an idea of what the inside looks like and the vibe of the place. Then I come up here and I look at this. And look at how simple their navigation is. Home, team, women, men. I mean, I know pretty much where I need to click and go. Then next I look here, my news and specials, and then here's my call to action, book an appointment. So nice, such a nice simple flow, and their whole website is like that. I have another example here that I thought was good. This one, Laser Away. This is a med spa. I'm pretty sure it was a med spa. I love what they've done here. Look at this. They are allowing you to self-select what is it that you want to do. I want to do cool sculpting. I want to do Botox. So easy for me to just look and click. And you can see here, they even have, they're going to take you through 4 steps so that you are sure to end up exactly where you want. Very, very simple. Okay, so any questions so far in the chat?
No questions yet, but a lot of compliments. They're just absorbing it from you, and they'll probably have it at the end.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Oh, there is one. Can I answer 1 second?
Sure. Yeah.
How do we drive the eyes to different parts of the site with font size, color, pictures?
Yes. Yes. All those things. So generally people are going to look at your pictures first, particularly if it's a larger photo in the case of this one, or of the site I showed you previously. You just naturally looked at the photo first. So the photos are going to be first, and then after that, things with color on them. Let me go back here one real quickly. You know, this lemon, right, in big green. You looked at this first, but then you probably looked here, and you may have looked here next. So you can see how important color is. But then also the size of your font too will make a difference. I mentioned this a little bit when I talked about responsive templates, and I'll talk about it again. Most website platforms have templates, and they sort of have that set up already for you. So it has a hierarchy of where people are going to look first, second, and third.
Is a slideshow too much for the homepage where they move the photos?
No, it's not. But people don't always make it to the second item. So you really want to think about what's the first thing, what's the most important thing I want people to know when they come to my site. Okay. Okay. Number 4, you want to make sure it's easy to contact you. I know this sounds really obvious, but I spent a lot of time looking at sites for this presentation, and sometimes it is not easy to find this information. I really love how DBK Salon did this. Very clear, nice spacing. They have 3 different locations, so it's really upfront here. Call this number for York, this one for Lawrence, etc. The addresses. So things that you want to have for your contact information. Some of these are obvious, some maybe not so. Your phone number. If you have an email address that you are really being responsive with, you want to include that. Your physical address. How's your parking situation? Are they going to have to park on street? Is there a parking lot? Will they have to park in a parking deck? That sort of thing. A Google Maps link. Very, very helpful. Again, remember, a lot of these people are going to be on their phone and they can just click the Google Maps link and then they've got it. They know where you are. Social buttons. A lot of people, I mean, we find at Universal, a lot of people want to talk to us through social. They don't email us, they don't call us, they want to talk to us through social. So if you have social and you're very responsive on it and you're checking it regularly, then go ahead and include that. Also, your contact, you want this information to be on every page. I mean, ideally, your phone number should really be at the top of all your pages, and then also at the bottom in your footer. Whatever your primary way is of contacting you, that's what you want to have there. Also, if you take nice quality images of the outside of your business, that's really helpful for people who are visiting you for the first time. It's a visual cue for them to know that they're at the right place. Because think about it, you're driving, you've got your maps going, you're like, okay, I know it's up here, but there's a bunch of buildings. I'm not sure which one it is. But if you've taken a photo, they know exactly what they're looking for. And then as one other contact type item, if you do email, which we're going to talk about in a later webinar, if you do email your clients, then do allow for an email sign up, and that can also be in your contact page. I want to show you another contact page that I thought did a great job. This is actually a company local to me, or a spa, I'm sorry, local to me. Look how great this is. They've got their hours very clearly, their phone number for Kingsport, their phone number for Bristol, the address for both places, and then here's their email. And I love that they did this. A contact page is a page that many of your visitors will look at. And so they're cross-promoting their specials on this page, which I'm also going to talk about specials in a little bit. So they really did a nice job here on their contact page. Okay, and number 5, include your service menu. So when I say include your service menu, I mean not just a PDF. I did see this pretty frequently. I would click on services and it would open a PDF. So that's not ideal. First of all, it's a hassle. You need a PDF reader. Many, people would, and they may not have it. Also, if you're on a phone, it can be harder to read. So really, I'm not saying don't include a PDF. I'm just saying don't have that your only way of seeing services. You really want to have your services on your website. And be sure in your services that you include pricing. That's important. I love here that they not only told you what their services are, what the type of massage, but then they tell you how many minutes, and then here is the pricing on this one. So I thought that was really nice. I actually have several slides here of some really good jobs on good pages on services. This is another one, Spavia. I love this. So they kind of went beyond what you would think of as a typical service. They do have massage and manicure and things like that, but they also frame their services as event type services, right? So come here for a baby shower, come here for a work retreat, come here for your anniversary. It's a little bit of a different way about thinking about your services, but it can really help your client, this visitor, to think, hey, you know what? That's a good idea that I hadn't thought about. Here's another one. I love this one. Love, love, love. Illusions Color Spa. So they offer eyelash extensions, and they did a great job up here. They're describing, why it's great to have eyelash extensions, and you can use it for special occasions or day to day. And then here they have their services and they have the price. But then at the bottom of this page, they have an FAQ, and they actually talk about what to do before the procedure, How long do they last? How do I take care of my lashes? This is so incredibly helpful for your clients. They don't know these things, and it helps build trust in you that you are offering this information. It also has great SEO, which I will talk about a little bit later, but this is really, this was hitting it out of the park, in my opinion, on services that they included this. Now, do you need to do that for all your services? No, but especially something like this, I think it's really helpful. And then I have one other one here I want to show you. Before and after photos, always great. This is fabulous. A hair salon. This is fabulous for skincare. In this case, this is a Medi Spa, and they were showing after, I'm not sure, maybe some laser treatments or something like that. They were showing his before and after. This would even be great for manicures. You know, showing the final nail art would be good too. Okay, so number 6, highlight your specials. I talked about this a little bit before. Everyone loves a deal, and some people come looking specifically for your specials. People will browse longer when you have specials available. So you want to display them prominently. Here they have them in the menu, or in the navigation, I'm sorry. You saw that other example where they had it on the Contact Us page. Many times they will have it on the home page. Make sure you keep your specials up to date. There's nothing that says I don't care more than going to the specials page and seeing something from 2019. So you want to make sure you keep that up to date. And really the easiest way to do that, because we have to do this too on the Universal website, the easiest way to do that is to just put a reminder in your calendar. When you put it up on your site, go right away, put a reminder in your calendar that says, hey, on this date, I need to change out the specials. Also on your specials, don't forget this here, you can see, let me highlight a couple things here, real easily $10 off a 50-minute service, a deep massage with CBD and lavender, 50 minutes, and they highlight how much of a savings that is at $169. But also don't forget about your evergreen deals. Your evergreen deals are things like discounts for the military or healthcare. Those are popular right now. Discounts for first-time guests, or if there's a customer referral, you'll want to, you know, include those. Don't just think about these are the specials for January or February. Think about, you know, those evergreens that you can talk about. Okay, number 7. Display reviews, testimonials, and awards. Positive reviews are really the best possible marketing tool that you have to generate new business, in my opinion. I mean, I will tell you that when we put reviews in our emails, and you probably, many of you, all of you hopefully get our emails, it is really popular. People want to hear what other people think. And it helps to affirm for them that they're doing the right thing. So this is really encouraging them to either book a service with you, or, as I mentioned previously, if you sell products, to buy something from them or buy something from you. So where can you get testimonials? Many times I've seen where I've gone into a spa and they give me a little card and they ask me to fill out my comments. There's one way. On social media, if they leave any kind of comments on your posts or on your page itself, that is all up for grabs to put on your website. If you allow any kind of online reviews, like for example, if somebody reviews you on Yelp, that you could pull and put on your website. Maybe somebody has emailed you something. All of these different places are where you can find testimonials that you can add to your site. In addition, if you've earned any rewards, you want to go ahead and add those. So as I was looking around, actually, I think it was the website where you got to choose, I wanted Botox or laser or whatever. They earned a vendor award. They were Cool Sculpting certified, I believe. So you want to say that, right? That's proof that you know what you're doing. Or if you have any local awards, you know, like voted favorite day spa in Cleveland or something like that, go ahead and put that up too. We have thankfully been awarded Best Distributor by American Spa Magazine for many, many years now. And we are sure to let new customers know that, because we think it helps them to feel comfortable purchasing from us for their business. We value that award very, very highly at UCO. So another example there. Okay, number 8, you want to post content. So we have a saying, content is king, and it really is. It's content is central to the success of your website. And what content does is it educates Google about what your site is about. This is that SEO that I've mentioned a couple times, Joe mentioned in his presentation, and that in the next webinar in 2 weeks, Jake is going to talk about in more detail. So when you are thinking about content to post, you really want to think about keywords. And I won't go into this too much because Jake is going to talk about it more, and I don't want to go off track here, but keywords are the types of things you really want to think about when you're posting content. So you don't just offer a service, you offer a massage service. Think about those words as you are creating content for your site, like blog posts, or even really as you are writing up your service menu. That is a form of content for your site that Google reads, and it helps to know what your site is about. So keep that in mind. And, I think one of the questions that had come through either with Joe's registration or with this one, what kind of content do your clients want? It's actually simpler than you think. It's the stuff that you know so well that you think everyone knows, they don't know it. So explain the different kind of manicures. What's the difference between, what is an acrylic manicure? What's a gel manicure? What's the difference? How do different ingredients in skincare work? Which hairstyles work best for different face shapes? You could do a review of a product that you know is popular. You could talk about aromatherapy. I mean, anything that makes sense for your business and the types of services that you offer. Okay, I have 2 more. Are there any questions from the chat so far?
Yeah, we have a question about where to post your content on the site.
Okay, so when you're talking about, like, we'll call it an article type content, you would want to put that on your blog pages. But as I showed you with the example for the eyelash services, that content about, what do I do before? How do I maintain this? What's the service going to be like? That all counts. And that's all quality content. And quite honestly, I don't know if they did this. I didn't go and check. But if I were them, I would have that content under the service, but I would also create a blog page with that exact same content, or something at least very similar to it, because I think that's really valuable.
And we had another question pop up about if you would recommend the free websites that some companies offer, and what's the difference with using a paid one or a developer, or using like Squarespace or something like that?
Okay, so I'm actually going to talk about the different websites. So can we go ahead? Is it okay if I skip that one and we go, we wait? Yeah, and just actually it's my last slide or 2 that we're going to talk about that, but I did see that question come through. Okay. Okay. Number 9, show staff bios and photos. So, bios are very reassuring. If I'm going in to get a haircut or to get a manicure or to get a facial, I want to know that the person who I have scheduled with knows what they're doing. And so these bios are really great. What you can highlight in them are prior experience of the person, any specialties they have, any extra training they have, and then of course a welcoming photo. So I thought Fringe New York did a great job here with Ellie. 10 years of experience behind the chair. She's Redken certified colorist and a master stylist. She has an eye for perfecting customized looks. A solid consultation is an important factor for successful results. And her specialties are hair painting with unique skin flattering tones and cutting techniques that create movement. I know what I'm getting with Ellie. I think this is fabulous. Again, this is that content that I'm talking about. It doesn't have to just be a blog page. This is quality content for Google to know what you offer. So your staff bios and are probably or can be part of your about page, which is one of, and I'll talk about this towards the end, one of your main pages of your site. Okay, and number 10, I haven't checked how am I doing on time. Okay. Number 10, you need to offer online booking. So I'll be honest with you, I have no experience with online booking, but as I was looking at a lot of websites, most of the sites had this. So I believe it's an expected functionality for your site. And if you think about it, it's actually really nice and it can help increase your client base. I mean, you have to think about not everybody can call during your normal business hours. Some people don't like to call. They don't like to talk on the phone. And some people just want to do everything online. So, you know, you're really helping out future clients by offering online booking. And plus it really frees up your staff to interact with the clients that are right in front of them and hopefully creating even better reviews and testimonials for your business. So online booking, I think, is an important one that if you don't have it, you should really look into it and work towards getting that on your website. Okay, so I've covered the top 10, and next I'm going to talk a little bit about the how of doing this. Any questions before I jump in? Because these next slides are going to, I think, create questions.
It might, yeah. Well, I have another one besides the one about the free websites. This could be a broader one, but she said, if I work for the salon owner and she has her own site for that salon company, should the stylist also create a website for herself as a personal website, or should she?
Okay, so I think it depends on a couple of things. I know that, and actually I was just talking about this with a friend of mine who owns a salon. They're set up differently. Sometimes you, and I don't know this 100%, so don't hold me to it. Sometimes you rent a chair and you have your own clients and they text you or call you directly, and really there's like nobody at the desk. In that kind of a situation, sure, you could have your own website. Sometimes you rent a chair, but it's the salon buys product and you give a percentage of your services to the salon. And in that way, they're acting like you're a contractor for them a little bit. And in that case, you maybe don't need a website. However, I think social is very important for you in that case. Hopefully, if you're in that type of a situation, your salon has highlighted you on their website and can show, include your social. So I'm going to go right here. Do you see that? She's got her Instagram right here. So that's ideal in that type of a situation. Okay, I hope I answered that question. I'm going to go ahead and jump next to if you're thinking of creating your own website or reworking your website. So if you've decided, yep, I'm going to do this myself, I don't need any help. Here's a few tips. There is, let's say you don't have a website. There are many website platforms out there that you can use that are really very simple to use. Let me tell you, it's gotten 100 times easier than when I very first started and I had to code by hand. So it isn't as difficult as it used to be. Here's some examples of the websites: Shopify, WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, which is where you get domains from. Somebody had asked about domains. Duda, which was recommended in within our team. Joe had actually suggested for the people who were asking for ones that were very simple and probably inexpensive. Duda might be a good option for you for that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say all of these website platforms that are generally available, they have templates. And so what a template is it already has laid out for you what your homepage will look like, etc. And you literally just put in your copy, upload your image, etc. So you just kind of fill it out. That's the way it goes. Now, remember, as I mentioned before, make sure that whatever template you choose, if you decide to do this yourself, make sure whatever template you choose, it has responsive design. Almost, I would again say all of them are going to have responsive design, but it is an important point not to miss. The other nice thing about website platforms like these is that they all have apps available that you basically just plug in, not physically, but you just launch and attach it to your website, and it'll do for things like online booking. So it just makes it simple for you, and you don't have to think about it too much. I wanted to also highlight a couple other things. If you're going to do it yourself, your color palette is really important. As you saw from the websites that I showed in the presentation, they're just beautiful. And I can't pick out a color palette personally. I have to rely on my team for that. But there's absolutely help out there. As I was looking, I found this website, and these slides will be available afterwards, so you don't have to write it down. But there's a website that talks about, that I thought did a really good job of talking about website color schemes and how you use color to draw attention and things like that. I thought that was really worth the read. And then equally cool is Coolers here. They will actually generate color schemes for you. So this was really neat. Like, I actually put in the word spa, and it returned, I don't know, maybe a dozen color schemes that they felt were spa-like. And it would have maybe 5 different complementary colors, 4, 3. If you don't have in your brand really specific colors, this can be a good way for you to come up with a color scheme that is pretty much painless and really a lot of fun, honestly. And then lastly, you're going to need stock photos. You do ideally want to take photos of the inside of your business, of your team, of the outside of your business, but you're still going to need some stock photos, candles, massage, flowers, whatever. So some good ones that you can use: Shutterstock, Unsplash, Pixabay. I think Pixabay is completely free. You can just search free stock photos and, find a whole bunch of options. But these 3 in particular, I know do have good spa and salon photos that you could use. Okay. Any questions? I know there's like a million things about building your own website, but again, I'm trying to keep this high level.
Yeah, I'm like, well, this one's like on a different topic too, where if someone, if she's not comfortable writing content with no marketing experience, agonizing over the words, is there a resource that she could go to, or should she just go right to hiring a marketing person or a writer? I don't know if you have any resources online that she can use for that.
Yes, I do. So I'm actually, in my next slide, I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so if you don't want to do it yourself and it just seems overwhelming and you want some help. Okay, this is the biggest one, the biggest discussion, where to find website developers and designers to help you. And, honestly, Joe and I were talking about this. It can even be hard for us to find somebody. And so I don't say that to discourage you, but I just want to be honest with you. And, it's hard because there's designer, and please forgive me, I think Waylon might be on the line. I don't mean to make it so simple, but designers are a little bit more about how it looks and the layout, and a coder is more about how it functions, to put them into clear camps. So, you know, you have to think about, is this person just a coder, or are, you know, do you need coding and you've hired a designer? So there's things like that. And, you know, will they get your message right? Will they help you to show your brand the way you want it to? And, you know, do they take direction from you, you know, effectively? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, that's the thing, no matter who you work with, is, are they taking good direction from you? So, how do you go about hiring, you know, finding the right person? So actually, Peter and I talked about this, and I am going to compare it to when you hire a massage therapist. I was saying, I said, when you interview a massage therapist, like, how do you know if they're any good? And he said, well, you have them do a technical. Same thing with a person who's going to build your website. You want to find a way to see if their work is good and if you can work with them. So just have them build one page for you. Take a week or so, build the page, see how it goes, and just sort of keep doing this until you find somebody who you can work well with, and that gets you and that can help you bring your site to life. So where can you find somebody? Well, one way that I like is that you can go look at other websites that you like, that you think look nice. You don't see typos on it, although that's not always a function of the person who builds your website. But, you know, it looks nice and everything. And if you go and look in the footer, many times you'll see that it says site built by, and then it will have the company name. That's a good way for you to find somebody. The web platforms that I mentioned previously, like Shopify and Duda, they many times will have they can connect you to experts. So like, for example, Shopify has their Shopify Experts Marketplace, and it literally is people who specialize in building sites for Shopify. And it talks about like what they have experience in and things like that. So that can be a place. There are websites like freelancer.com and upwork.com, freelancer.com and upwork.com. And essentially that's where you can go to find contractors to do work. And also those sites do have writers too, if you're looking for something like that. And it tells you, this is the type of thing I write, this is what I charge, etc. So another good way you could test somebody out if you really feel you need a writer. And then, you know, I don't know if you're active on LinkedIn, but I've turned to LinkedIn several times when I needed to find somebody, and it's worked for me. So that could be another option for you. So when you are building your website, you have 5 key pages that you want to make sure are on your website. Now, again, we're talking at a minimum, this is what you want to have on your site, and you certainly could have more, but you obviously want to have a home page. You know, that's the first place customers or your clients hit, and they're either going to stay or they're going to go. And so obviously you want them to stay. So really, when you're thinking about your homepage, you want to think about it from the customer's perspective, right? You don't want to be thinking, oh, I want them to know about this and this and this. You'll get yourself in trouble. Instead, think to yourself, okay, if a customer comes to my site, what are they looking for? And that's how you want to approach your homepage. You want to have an about page. This is really where you're telling them who your spa is, what your brand is. This is your chance to tell your spa's story and to make that emotional connection with the clients. And I would say that all spas would have some kind of emotional connection, no matter what your branding style is. And as I mentioned before, this can also be a place for your staff bios if you don't want to call them out separately. And then your 3rd page is your services, which we talked about. Your 4th page is blog or some kind of content. And then lastly, your 5th page would be your contact information. So those are the 5: home, about, services, blog, and contact. Okay. And then of course, the $1 million question, how much is it going to cost? So I think you really have to break it down into, do you have a site that you're not happy with, or do you need a whole entire site newly from scratch? That can affect the cost. And also, you also have to think about how much you're going to contribute. If you're going to say to your website developer, here, just make me a site, that's obviously going to cost more than here, I just don't know how to do the technical part of it, but I know what I want to say and I know the images generally that I want to use, then you're talking on the lower side. So really, depending on how much you want to contribute, you're probably looking at between $2,500 and about $10,000 for your site. And then also, I want to make sure you realize you will have monthly fees. So for example, I'm going to go back to Shopify because that is one that we use at UCO. On Shopify, a monthly fee for a website is $29 a month. So it's not exorbitant by any stretch. And I think the question came through from the registrations about, how do you keep your website costs low? And I do understand that, you don't want to be paying $1,000 for a website that only has 5 pages. I completely agree with that. However, your website should make you money, whether you have retail or not. The value it provides and the clients that it drives to you should make you money. That little bit you have to spend in monthly fees, it shouldn't make a difference. So that's when your website is working for you. Okay, I do want to say one other thing to help you. And this also, I think, goes for whoever asked about the writing. I'm a big fan of don't reinvent the wheel. So what I mean by that is go and let's say you're a nail salon. That's what you offer. Go and find other nail salons that you think are doing a great job. Now, I would not recommend you go and look at other nail salons that are doing a great job in your local area. Go type in nail salon Miami, nail salon Chicago, nail salon Portland, whatever, and find some sites you think are doing really well and kind of use that as your template, use that as your guide on how to set up your website. I mean, it can show you and tell you how to write your copy. It can give you your navigation at the top of your website. You can see how to actually set up your homepage. I mean, if you go to the site and you like it and you find it helpful, then it's a winner. And at least it's a good place to start for your site. I think that's sometimes the hardest thing, is just to get started, knowing that, you're worried you're spending this money, it's taking time, and are you doing the right thing? But if you're mimicking your site off of something that you really like, then that can be a good resource for you. Okay, that's it. The top 10 do's for your website, and also an overview of what to think about, whether you're going to do this yourself or you're going to ask somebody to help you. So any other questions? I have a little bit of time. I went way over my half hour.
Oh, no, I mean, I know that it can go even deeper in each topic. So
Yes.
this is such good information for an overview. We do have a question about, would you recommend having a page for the products that you were using at the spa?
Oh, yes. I think that is a good idea, because people want to know what's being used on them. I know now, granted, the last time I got a facial, I'm sure I annoyed that poor esthetician to death. Every single thing she put on my face, what are you using? What is that?
Yeah.
Oh, we carry that. Like I couldn't shut my brain off. Like, and even when I think she walked out of the room for a minute, I was looking around at the equipment. But I know that's an anomaly. But yes, I do. I think that they're interested to know that. And again, here's some blog content, right? Why did you pick that line? Or why did you pick that product? Or what about that product is really nice? It's vegan. It's based on science. It smells great. Whatever the case may be, they will be interested in that.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm one of those clients that when I go to get a massage, that I'm like interested in the science of why that
Yes.
muscle is connected to another one and why this one has to be held pressed longer than the other. So like those details like that to me are great content.
Yes.
As well. Somebody had a question about the stock photos. Some of the free ones have copyright. How could you make sure we don't get in trouble for using those photos?
So it should say if they're completely free. It should tell you that. I'm pretty sure that Pixabay is completely free because I believe that's one that we use.
Unsplash too.
Okay.
I think they suggest, mentioning or crediting the photographer, but that's up to you.
Right.
But I would I'd always read like the terms and conditions, I guess,
Right.
on the site. Awesome.
That was super good. Thanks, Camille. Thanks, Peter.
Welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed it. I took a bunch of notes.
Good.
That's always a good sign, right?
Yes, always a good sign.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with our episode number 3. And
Can I mention what that is, Joanna?
yeah, absolutely.
Great. Because a lot of the questions that we've been getting, and for those of you that have been coming each time, the questions you ask ahead of time have really helped the presentations.
Yes.
Even at the last second. We had a question in this morning and Camille was like, I'm adding that to my slide. And got right into it. So the more questions you ask at the outset, the more relevant, the presentations are going to be. But a lot of the questions that have come through both last time and this time will relate to the 3rd and the 4th episode in the series. So next time, in 2 weeks, we've got an episode called Getting Your Business Found Online. And our presenter is going to be Jake Hinton. And Jake is the Director of Search Engine Optimization, SEO, and Marketing at Cloud Potential. So he's going to talk about, some of the questions that came through about SEO. What words do you use when you're creating content? How do you use Google to your best advantage?
Mm-hmm.
For everyone who shops online, there is some reason that you get connected to a business. So Jake's going to go into some really good practical detail about how you come up as that person that connects with the customer who's searching for your services or your kind of business. So, and that's going to be on February 9th at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So we'll have the registration ready for you guys to send out pretty soon. We're still sort of fine tuning the final description. But thank you for your support for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. All right. Well, happy Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
and we'll see you in a great job, Camille. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.